When Adobe released responsive design in Muse back in early 2016, the application became significantly more powerful than it used to be. But with that power came some complexity. This video explains a little bit about responsive design in Muse and a few tips for creating responsive websites. First of all, we created a responsive training series available for members of Muse Themes that includes over 20 videos explaining all of the different elements of responsive design in Muse. So if you end up becoming a member of Muse Themes, be sure to check this series out. It was really well received from our members, and there's lots of great comments from users saying it was really helpful for them. Now, if you're not familiar with responsive design, basically what it is it's the ability to create a website that responds to each different browser size, and your content fits into any window. So you're not designing specific to a device. You're not creating a mobile site or a tablet site. You're creating one website that just adapts to all of these different browser sizes. So I've shown this graphic before, and this is from Wikipedia, but basically it says content is like water. It's going to adapt to all of these different containers, no matter what you put it in. So there's a couple different ways to create responsive sites in Muse. Let me jump back to Muse, and if I create a brand new site, we're presented with the option to do a fluid width or a fixed width site. I'll show you examples of what these mean. A fluid width site means that content is going to be fluid and adapting throughout all different screen sizes. So I have an example here. It's a theme that we have available on Muse Themes. It's called Street Smarts, and this is a fluid width site. So you notice all of these images that are spanning across the browser. As I scale it down, see how they're shrinking the whole way. Every bit of different pixel dimensions here, the images are taking up a specific percentage and adapting based on the screen size. So this is an example of a fluid site. Now, the other option in Muse is to do a fixed width site. So the way that a fixed width site works is you have various fixed sizes, and whichever size fits best in the browser that loads, it will show that version of the site. So here's an example of a fixed width site. This is our build theme. And notice as I scale the browser down, things aren't necessarily shrinking. They're all staying at a fixed size. Then once I hit a size that no longer fits in this browser, the site will kind of reshuffle to a different layout, and then yet again down to smaller sizes and smaller all the way down to something that would be more mobile appropriate. So that's a fixed width layout. Fixed width layouts are a little bit easier to work with and better for beginners new to Muse. Fluid width layouts can create a lot of complexity and they need a lot of refinement. So if you're looking to build a responsive site fast, go with fixed width. Now let's jump into Muse and I'll show you how responsive design in Muse is set up. If we have our page here and we want to begin simulating what this site may look like on a smaller browser, we can grab this bar in the top right. It's called the breakpoint scrubber. So we grab this bar and we shrink it down until we're feeling like our site isn't fitting very well. And then at that point, we can hit this little plus icon, and this is called a breakpoint. And so we hit plus and we have a new breakpoint. One important thing to note as well is if I right-click on this breakpoint bar and go to the breakpoint properties, we have a minimum page width, and right now it's set to 960. So on a responsive site, we probably want our minimum page width to be something more like 400, and click OK. Then we can create breakpoints at different sizes all the way down until we hit something like a mobile size. Now there are also different responsive sizing controls on elements within Muse too. If I place an image on the canvas here, just like that, and I decide that I want this image to scale down depending on the breakpoint, I can go up to the responsive resizing controls here, select the drop down, and I could change this to be responsive width and height. That means it's going to shrink down based on the browser size. Now you can also reshuffle elements based on each individual breakpoint. So let's say on this breakpoint, I like this image something like this, around this size, and on the next one, it's not fitting very well. See, it's kind of falling off the edge of the canvas. Well, I can actually modify it on this breakpoint. And then if I jump back to the original, you'll notice it's set as I originally designed it. So you can almost have different versions of your site depending on different screen sizes. It's a complicated subject and there's a lot to it. Responsive design in Muse is so big, in fact, that I can't cover everything in just a small 5-minute video. However, I really recommend you check out our 20-part training series that explains the full process. It's available for members of MuseThemes.com, and I think you're really going to enjoy it.